you, man. Hallelujah. All right, so we're back to the discipleship course. Getting equipped for the journey, right?
Hallelujah.
All right, so as you know, this is lesson 7. All right, so and lesson 7 is all about the story of Moshe. And so we were doing chapters 10 through 12. And so we're taking a look at the bare bones, and within the bare bones, you know, the first thing that we want to do with the chapters that we're going over is entitle the chapters. You know, and this is actually a really pretty important part, you know, because you know, it kind of tells your audience, you know, what your focus was. Amen. Can you hear anybody see that?
Yeah.
So you're gonna know what my focus was when you see what I entitled it. And I entitled it Darkness Falls. Ooh. Well, that wasn't part of the title, but
Okay.
but yeah, Darkness Falls, you know, and you know, because within these passages, darkness falls. All right. Um, and so yes, we do have some characters within the story. And front and center is Yahuwah,
Hallelujah.
the most powerful name ever spoken. You know, and then we have his supporting cast, Moshe and Aaron. And then we have Pharaoh of Mitzrayim. And then we have Pharaoh's servants.
Hallelujah.
They, you know, they try to talk some sense into my man within these chapters. Then we had the Egyptian people as a whole. You know, they had a part to play in this within these chapters. And then there were the elders of Israel and the Israelites as a whole. All right. Now, we had out of those characters, we had some main characters, and they were few. Main characters, as I said previously, front and center was Yahuwah. Because really, this story is all about Yahuwah. You know, and that's something that I want everyone to see, because no one up to this point knew who Yahuwah was. And this is why he was so adamant about showing who he was. And so he's revealing who he is within these plagues. You know, I once read, you know, some literature that spoke to, you know, the Egyptians being polytheists, and that many of these plagues were directed at pagan gods that they worshipped. You know, and so one of the perspectives was that that Yah was actually showing himself mightier than all their gods. You know, and so I thought that was pretty awesome. You know, and then we have another main character, which is Yahuwah's liaison. You know, Moshe. You know, played by Charleston Heston himself. You know, and another main character within these 3 chapters was, of course, the strong, the wicked, the Pharaoh of Mitzrayim. All right, so those are your main characters. Okay, then we have the setting of the story. You know, and a part of the setting of the story is despair. You know, the whole story takes place in a setting of despair. Pharaoh and the Egyptians are trying to hold out, but they're in a state of despair. They're growing weary from all these plagues. They're breaking down. And that bleeds through in these 3 chapters. You know, it's even a point of conflict betwixt Pharaoh and his servants. You know, that shows that to be the case. But we're not there yet. You know, and of course, the setting is in Mitzrayim, as well as Goshen of Mitzrayim. Yes, yes, yes. The land of Goshen, that's where we want to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we want to reside. That's where we want to remain at all times, in Goshen. Because even though for the Egyptians, the setting was a setting of despair, for the Israelites, there was a setting of shalom and even that of rejoicing. Because they too could see the Egyptians breaking down. And they could see their liberation coming soon. You know, and so that was another part of the setting is, you know, that they were at peace because they're watching all these horrible plagues come upon the Egyptians. And they're over in Goshen, cool as cucumbers. You know, Yah clearly showed that, hey, these are my people right here. And they like, get them, Yah, yeah, we with you, you know. So, yeah, they had peace on their side. And there's another setting called Sukkot. You know, for when they left out of Mitzrayim, they ventured off to Sukkot. Sukkot was approximately 125 kilometers or approximately 77 miles from Goshen. So, you know, they ventured quite a ways. You know, they're trying to get away from them folks. But them folks wanted them away from them as bad as they wanted to get away. You know, which I thought was amusing too. You know, so the setting takes on a mood of panic. So for the Egyptians, they go from being in despair to panicking. You know, and so after the last plague, they truly go into a panic, and you know, now they just, you know, forcing folks out. You know, get out, go. You know. All right, so we come to the plot. The plot of chapters 10 through 12 are centered about Yahuwah showing Pharaoh, the Egyptians, and the world at large who he is via his signs and wonders. Yet the chapters 10 through 12, the particular theme seem to show that he's the El of light and darkness. He's the El over light and darkness. You know, and that's a pretty significant thing in these 3 chapters. You know, I have some points of interest that I thought was pretty interesting. The 8th plague was upon the earth or land, but the 9th was upon the air. Did anybody catch that? No one caught that, huh? Also, the 8th and 9th plagues were pretty much the same. Can anyone tell me how? All right, this is where you get your kudos at. You know, it's go passing out gold stars. You know, if anyone can get this one.
Wasn't in Goshen.
What you mean?
It hit Egypt, but it didn't go near Goshen.
Well, yeah, that's true, but no, that's not what I'm looking for. You know, that's been happening at this point. That's not nothing. The question is, well, it's surrounded with this around this point of interest, and the point of interest is the eighth and ninth plagues were pretty much the same. Can anyone tell me how they were the same?
Absence.
Say again.
We covered everything.
Meaning what?
Yeah, so that's the absence of light.
That is the answer.
What?
2 gold stars. Darkness. That's the word I was looking for.
Oh.
I gave you big hints. You know, I entitled it "Darkness Falls," right? You know. All right. So, where was the darkness in the eighth plague?
In the earth,
How so?
the light was gone.
No.
Oh,
Covered everything on light.
Absolutely.
what? What did you say?
Covered all light.
The locust covered everything with life. The locust, it tells us the locust covered everything green, every green thing. Green represents life. It covered everything with life. You know, and to show that this was a point that Yah was making. Even Pharaoh, when he asked Moshe to take it away, he said, "Remove this death. Whatever you do, only remove this death from us." He didn't say the locust. He said death. You know, because the locusts blocked out all light and they began to consume everything that had life, and so it resulted in death. You know, and in that way, the eighth and the ninth plagues are pretty much the same. Because in the ninth plague, there was a plague of darkness, a gross darkness that could even be felt. You know, but this darkness was over the air rather than the ground. And to show you the difference, you know, in the eighth plague, when Yah told Moshe to pronounce the plague, he told him to take the rod and wave it over the earth. But in the ninth plague, Yah told Moshe to take the rod and wave it over the air. That's a lot for y'all to be missing. You know. But yes. So what I want you guys to see, because this is the whole point of these exercises, is for you to recognize the patterns and the parallels. You know, the pattern is the same. First there was darkness, then came death. Eighth plague. The locust covered all the land, all the ground, so that you could not, it said, couldn't see the face of the earth, leaving the earth in darkness. And then, of course, came death, because they consumed everything that had life. Ninth plague. Gross darkness goes all throughout the land, within the air. Everything was dark. And then what will come after it? Death. Can you see the parallel now? Can everybody see the parallel?
Yeah.
You know, I want you to be able to see that, because that's huge, you know, because Yah is saying something. Because at the same time, over in Goshen, there was light. There were no locusts in Goshen. There was no darkness in Goshen. there was no death in Goshen. Yah was emphatically proclaiming himself to be the El of light. You know, so I thought that was pretty big. You know, another point of interest, Yah used Aaron to do 3 plagues and Moshe to do 6. You know, and the 3 plagues that Aaron did, the magicians were able to do as well. But the 6 Moshe did, the Egyptians couldn't duplicate. 3 and 6 is what? 9. Everybody know their math. Good, you know. So what do you see for those of you who were here yesterday when we went over to number 4? You know, we were talking about 3 plus 1. Okay, an example of that is in today's lesson. You know, you have 3 sets of 3, and then you have a 1. So you have 3 plagues done by Aaron, 3 done by Aaron. I mean, 3 plagues done by Aaron, 3 plagues done by Moshe, 3 plagues done by Aaron with the rod specifically. And here's another point of distinction, but there was 3 plagues done by Aaron with the rod. There was 3 plagues done by Moshe without the rod, just by speaking. And then there was 3 plagues done by Moshe with the rod. That's good stuff right there. Y'all just don't know, but that's good stuff. So you have 3 sets of 3. And what does the 1 usually represent? That makes the 4. Yah. Yah brought the 10th plague on his own. He did not tell Moshe what he was about to do. You know, he did not tell Moshe to go out and say nothing to Pharaoh. He did not tell Moshe to take the rod and wave it. He done that one on his own. But how did Moshe know what he was about to do? Because he still told him. Well, how did he know? Y'all sure y'all reading this stuff 7 times.
He told them how to save the Israelites, right? He gave them instruction for saving the Israelites.
Passover
Right.
law.
No, he told them at the very beginning. He told them at the very beginning when he sent them into Pharaoh. He told them, tell Pharaoh to let Israel, my firstborn, go. And if he don't, then I'm going to kill his firstborn. Did he not tell him that?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Yah always keeps his word. All right, so we did the 3 and 1. Okay, where am I at? Why the firstborn? I kind of just told it. But I didn't tell it fully. If anyone want to take a stab at it. Why specifically the firstborn? What was that? Well, that didn't happen till later. You jumping ahead. That's in the next set of chapters.
Was it the ruling class in Egypt?
Yes, they were the ruling class in Egypt. What was you saying?
Pharaoh's son.
Well, yeah, Pharaoh did have a son that was firstborn, you know.
Yeah.
Well, what I believe that actually got Yah's attention, you know, is the fact that they were killing Yah's children. They were killing the babies. When Yah prophesied that he would send Israel into Mizraim you know, to be enslaved. He never said anything about to be exterminated or genocide.
Mhm.
And they had started killing
Right.
his firstborn.
Mm. Mm.
So, in all fairness, in accordance to his law,
Mm.
he killed their firstborn because that's what Torah teaches, right? You know, and yes, the ancient Egyptians were a culture that practiced primogeniture, you know, whereas the firstborn was the ruling class of society. And so, you know, in doing that, he did strike a pretty severe blow to Mitzrayim, you know, as a whole. You know, that was all their ruling class. You know, and there's even a passage, I forget which verse it is, but it's in chapter 12 where Yah even speaks on it. You know, Yah says something to the or either Yah or Moshe. One of them says something to the effect that that he's gonna kill. Is Moshe speaking? He's gonna kill if they don't let people go. He's gonna kill their firstborn. You know, and then he speaks of and the gods of Mitzrayim. You know, if I'm not mistaken, there's no and there. You know, there's no, you know, we're gonna kill the firstborn of Mitzrayim and the gods of Mitzrayim. You know, if I'm not mistaken, there's no and there. You know, so it's the Mitzrayim, the gods of Mitzrayim. I mean, yeah, kill the Egyptians, the gods of Mitzrayim, because the firstborn were the gods of Mitzrayim, in that they were the rulers and the judges. All right. Now we have some conflicts, which and some conflict resolutions. And so main conflict was Yahuwah, you know, versus Pharaoh. You know, and that was pretty obvious, you know, and then we have a conflict of Moshe versus Pharaoh. You know, and both of these conflicts were temporarily resolved with the death of the firstborn. You know, Pharaoh kind of scared straight. You know, then we had a conflict betwixt Pharaoh versus his servants. You know, they got into it because, you know, they tired of Pharaoh, like, man, don't you see that Egypt is destroyed? Let these people go. You know, and this was temporarily resolved by him calling Moshe and Aaron back in and renegotiating, but, you know, he didn't like what they said, so the saga continued. And then we have a conflict betwixt the Egyptians versus the Israelites. You know, whereas after they seen that, you know, everybody had somebody dead in their house, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. So now they just ran out, you know, to the Israelites and like, y'all just go. You know, and they like, nah, we need some money. We can't just go out into the world. We broke, you know, we've been serving y'all all this time. Y'all need to pay us a little something. You know, so they gave them all their gold and all their silver, all their jewels, you know, and so, you know, as it says, you know, they spoiled the Egyptians, you know, so they paid them to leave. They should have let them go when they wanted to go. They ended up having to pay them to leave, you know, so they left. And so that was about as much as I could get out of those 3 chapters. So, hallelujah. So next week's lesson is to take chapters 13 through 15, and present the bare bones. Again, chapters 13 through 15, and present the bare bones.
Oh, yeah.
Hallelujah.